Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Super Deluxe Gamescast. It is Thursday, July 6th, 2 days after July 4th, which is how I barely was able to remember that. And I have one very important question for everyone before
I
we
did
kick off
not
that show.
celebrate this country's birthday.
Neither did. Well, I mean,
Okay, that wasn't the
drank.
question. Never mind. Continue.
Yeah. No. My question is this: what is Nintendo going to announce for NSO Online tonight during
in
the
like
podcast?
exactly 4
in
minutes.
3 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
Banjo Tooie,
Oh, that's a
right?
good one. That's a
Banjo
good one, yeah.
Tooie, or let's see. Diddy Kong Racing would be fucking hilarious. If it's a rare game, it'll be really funny.
It's gonna be like
If it's-
Snowboard Kids or something.
Yeah, it's good. Battle Tanks.
Battle Tanks too.
Eagle Racing Adventure. They're gonna spend so much money licensing that out, and then maybe it'll be it'll be probably one of the Zelda Game Boy games that aren't out isn't on there yet.
The Oracle games aren't on there yet, right? Like
right.
Oop, I took it to black. No reason.
So guys, I feel like it's time for Golden Sun.
It is time for Golden Sun.
Oh well,
sure.
yeah. Fire Emblem got announced
always
while
time
we were
for
on the
Golden
show.
Sun.
While we were on the show, Golden Sun could.
So Golden Sun could.
I'm just gonna pull up the Nintendo Twitter feed because it's gonna fucking happen. You know it.
The Oracle games are coming soon. We all know.
Somebody
that.
pointed out that it's been like over a year since they announced some of the stuff coming, and like only half of them have been released or something.
Yeah, I know, dude. There's a ton of fucking Game Boy Advance games that got kind of like revealed for NSO and haven't come out yet. Same with Game Boy Color games. So like and for anybody listening, the joke is that this shit always gets announced while we're live.
It's always
like,
9:05 p.m. on a Thursday, right when we start the show.
Like, what time is it in Japan? Because like I feel like it's some like
It's an even stupider time. It's just to fuck with us.
okay.
You know what it is? One motherfucker on the podcast gets fired from Nintendo and they mess with you for the rest of time.
They're waiting for you to go live.
No, they absolutely fucking do.
Okay, actually it's 10 a.m. in Tokyo, so
okay, that makes sense.
I'm actually going to be like refreshing Nintendo's feed for the next few minutes. Just to fucking they actually just tweeted something.
No.
Oh, it's the Nintendo versus Challenge Cup.
We're fine then. We're good.
We don't care.
We've been saved this week. Yep.
Okay, so I guess that means it's not gonna. No, but dude, they've done that shit later in the show, though, Derek. They have. This is not. I mean,
somebody in chat will inform us.
All bets are off.
We'll know.
When it comes to Nintendo, we're gonna
know.
What's so guys, everybody in chat, thank you for showing up. We appreciate seeing you here. I've already had a little bit of whiskey. I am now drinking a Founder's Breakfast Stout, so things might get a little snappy tonight.
I have some home orange infused bourbon.
Ooh, yeah, Derek. Derek? Talk to me about that. Like, how long?
So I've been getting into infusing spirits recently because Martha really wanted blackberry gin.
Wizard ass.
I know. Martha really wanted blackberry gin, so we took some blackberries, some fresh blackberries, and some sugar and some gin, and we got a good mason jar and a pickle jar, not a mason jar, and sealed it up. And X amount of time you leave it sitting, and you kind of gently swish it once a day. And you leave it sitting in a cool, dark area, and then you've got to strain it a couple times to get it, to a totally smooth consistency, and then you have an infused spirit. And I did the same thing with orange and bourbon this time. So I have an orange infused. This is almost like a Cheater's Old Fashioned in a lot of ways because of the extra sugar and the fruit. So I told Britt that when she comes up to visit, because she wants to come visit sometime this year, that I was going to make peach infused rum. So, and I need to make something. Terrible. No, it doesn't. And I need to make something to bring to the get together in October for sure.
So Derek, here's the really cool part. Now that you're drinking it, you've got, and Britt's here.
There's Britt.
Britt is here.
CJ, what the fuck is your background?
Gangster SpongeBob.
Wait, I just noticed that. Is that what that is?
Yeah,
John, we talked about it.
John,
you were here.
I was putting fucking tweets out, dude. I can't.
He's got that sometimers.
Oh my god.
So Britt, you came just in time for me to tell Derek that now that he's drinking his orange infused whiskey, he's got the spirits within.
fuck off. Fuck you, John. I gave you props.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's fucking good. Not John's joke. Not John's joke. The orange infused bourbon. This is so good.
No, he was talking about my joke for sure.
No, your joke sucks. I hated that.
Britt, you've been like starting to get into bourbon, and this would be it for sure.
Oh, that's all I've been drinking now is bourbon.
Yeah. What it takes a bit to get accustomed to, but once you get accustomed to it, you're like, ooh, good shit. So.
Britt, I am extremely proud of you for that shit, by the way. That's good shit.
For bourbon?
Yes. Yeah.
For Burby?
It's queen shit.
And for your hair, because it looks fucking great.
Thanks. I had to throw it up because I didn't have time to shower.
No, it looks fucking fantastic.
Thank you.
Derek.
Yeah.
What are we talking about tonight?
Yeah, so obviously we're talking a little about what we've been playing. After that is done, it has been a bit of a slow news week. By the way, thank you for remembering that I'm trying to actually give heads up about topics before we get full into the show. Every year we get closer to being a real podcast.
I'm just trying to make you
one step at a time.
One step at a time. Never mind that we get like more traffic than most podcasts would ever hope to get. We are still the most unprofessional shit.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But it's been a slow news week. So I wanted to talk about some potential like upcoming Capcom revivals. I took like small things that happened and I'm using that to like extrapolate fun topics out of. So yeah, like Capcom revivals, long dormant series that could be coming back in the near future. There's a lot of room to have some fun with that discussion. And then in the back end of the show, we're going to talk about the futility of forever games, and kind of the never-ending quest to make big online games like last forever and provide infinite content. So,
but first, as always, we're going to talk about what we've been playing. And if you guys don't mind, I'll kick this off first.
Sure.
Just to get it out of the way. So, last week, finished Final Fantasy 16. And I am now about 15 hours into my New Game Plus Final Fantasy mode playthrough, and I've got a couple quick thoughts. One, it's fucking hard. It is difficult. For context, in the original playthrough, I died once. I've already died 10 or 11 times. There are what appear to be new enemies. There are new enemy formations. There's new gear. Derek, what do you do? Yes, Derek, we are doing it again. I'm talking about Final Fantasy 16. You turd.
Oh, I downloaded Twitch for this.
Me after a night of drinking, texting my ex.
That's exactly what I'm doing. So I am greatly enjoying it. The level of challenge. I was telling Britt this earlier. There were a lot of complaints about the base game being too easy, which it's a Final Fantasy game. It's not Dark Souls or Elden Ring. Like Final Fantasy games are generally skew on the easy side. That said, I feel like the level of challenge here is really, really good. It's challenging, but not so challenging as to be frustrating. And I am actually doing a fun little thing where you have obviously New Game Plus, you have all your iconic abilities from the get-go, but I'm only equipping the ones that you acquire according to the story, which ups the challenge a little bit. And I'm having an absolute blast. This is how I'm going to do my subsequent playthroughs of 16. It's a really good time. For context on how much things can change, like I was going through that area of the Great Wood where you fight Fafnir, for example, CJ. Remember where you fight Fafnir, the big lizard?
No, hold up. Okay, I'm gonna make it very clear. Guys, do not ask me anything if I remember about Final Fantasy. I have been drinking so much since I published that review. I'm not even kidding. No. The parts of my brain that remember this game, I can't. You guys are throwing too much at me. I don't know. I'm so sorry. I put 60 hours in this game.
All right.
I put 60 hours. I don't remember a thing. If it's not a Shelby or a Nissan 350Z or a Skyline GTR, I'm not going to know what the fuck it is. As it is, I don't know how I'm going to do whatever the final reviewer is doing. Anyway, continue, John.
Well, then I'll say this. There's an area of the Great Wood before you fight Fafnir where in the base game, there's like a dragon Avis, right? Like a regular little dragon enemy. In this, there's a fucking chimera. And an enemy that I didn't encounter my first playthrough. There's minotaurs running around. There's griffins running around. There's new enemies. There's like a new cat-like enemy called a River Queen. which is annoying as shit. There's new gear. You can craft the Ultima weapon.
Do they throw in like completely different enemies from like the first, or like?
They totally remix apparently, like enemies and enemy
crazy.
placements and stuff like that.
It's
That's
very
almost like a roguelike.
Like so Justin, you finished the game. Like you encounter Flan a few times throughout the game, right? They're like formidable enemies. They're all over the place here. It's so
fun.
I really love the challenge, and this is absolutely how I'm gonna play the game when I eventually replay it again. It's just utterly fantastic. So I'm having a lot of fun with that. That's what I've been playing. Fucking surprise! I'm playing Final Fantasy 16 again. I know must come as a shock to a lot of people, but that's what.
How
that's
far?
what I
You
got.
said 15 hours. So
About 50. I'm 15 hours. So I just beat
roughly story. Okay, all right. I know who that is.
Yeah.
Wow. He did it, y'all. He remembered something.
He remembered something.
I'm being sarcastic. That name does not sound familiar to me at all.
Never mind.
I'm really sorry.
Britt, what about you? What are you playing? Let's shut CJ the fuck up.
16 and Diablo. I actually beat Diablo 4. When did I beat it? Derek, when did I beat it?
It was a couple days ago that you texted me about it.
Yeah, and like I'm not shrilling for Blizzard whatsoever, but it had a really compelling story, and I wasn't expecting that just from
That's kind of what I needed to hear.
Just from a dungeon crawler.
Because like I grew up on Diablo. Diablo 1 is like one of my earliest super memorable gaming experiences. I love this series. I love like the lore and you know all of this shit. Fucking feed it to me, but you know, like I can want Bobby Kotick. I can want Bobby Kotick to fall off a cliff and like still want Diablo 4 to be good,
like
right?
The team that did Diablo 4 really did a really good job.
Yeah.
Visually, like that game is just like the cutscenes are beautiful. Ralph Innocent, my man, so good. Yeah. He's something else, man. And it's like once you get towards the end of the game, it's just like, oh, fuck, shit's like going down. Because it slowly like teeters, like, and then it just fucking drops. It's been a really fun new experience for me. I've never played a Diablo game before. This, so I'm really just having fun with it, taking my time. It's a fun game to play with friends and just kind of get lost in, and it's always a great time when a butcher sneaks up on you. And everybody just starts fucking screaming, and but it's fun.
Like a butcher, like a monster, like an actual butcher who's
the butcher is a famous recurring boss in the Diablo
what about like
series.
the candlestick maker and the baker? Okay.
The baker, yeah.
Candlestick,
CJ. The butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker.
Oh my god!
I don't just like do like video game references, guys, or Simpsons references. I'm layered. I have.
Sometimes they're
he can remember that
like
shit, but not the story of Final Fantasy 16.
I know nursery
You know what?
rhymes.
I texted John and called a character in Final Fantasy 16 Little Lord Fauntleroy, and I thought I was gonna get a fucking laugh, and it turns out no old literature references with John. I am not gonna get.
What the fuck even is that?
I got it.
Never mind.
I'm looking it up now, dude. Okay, you don't know Little Lord Fauntleroy? Right. Come on, bro.
I just look.
Come on.
All right, Britt.
Anyway, so yeah, that's what I've been doing. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Britt, quick question: was this your first Diablo game?
I said that already, you mother.
I was okay. I'm
Look
so
at
sorry.
this. Look
oh
at.
My God. I'm sober. I'm sober. I'm sober. I'm sorry.
All I want you to do is listen to me and notice me, CJ. That's all I'm asking for.
You said that you're sober so many times.
I'm starting to doubt it.
Think you got protest too much.
He's permanently like this.
Oh yeah. So
I was gonna ask then, as someone who's never played, because I never played a Diablo game. I have a copy waiting, like in transit from work. So then, like, was it easy to get onboarded with it? Did you play with people who already
I think 4 is an excellent. I actually think 4 is a way better jumping in point than 3 was.
Yeah,
like
three
was
I've heard
almost
mixed things about it. Like that's the thing. I hear there was
3 is a fun arcadey experience
That's
if you're playing casually, but it is also so and dude, again, saying this as a Diablo fan, it's so overly drenched in Diablo lore and fan service and payback that I almost could not imagine trying to come into 3 without having without having played 2.
What was 3's? I remember 3 being a huge so 3 came out how long after 2? 3 and its launch was a whole controversy, but 3 felt like an event. 4 kind of came, it didn't feel as big.
Well,
as
3 came at a time when people were still uncritically completely hyped for anything Blizzard did, and it was at a time when Blizzard stuff like StarCraft 2 was big new StarCraft is back, Diablo 3 big new Diablo is back, WoW running strong, and now it's just a different time, but I haven't played as much. I'm glad Britt has beaten Diablo 4 because I'm going to want some of that frame of reference for our second big topic. But yeah.
Yeah, if you ever want somebody to play with, because you just play by yourself, don't you?
Well, I really want my first character to be by myself, so I'm just playing on my own rhythm.
Is it crossplay?
It is crossplay.
Oh, good.
I'm waiting on a PS5 copy. The thing is,
I've been playing with Zach, and he's been playing on the PS5, and I'm obviously on PC, so...
But yeah, part of the reason Diablo 2 is one of my favorite games of all time is just the number of times I've done a LAN party for Diablo 2, so.
Right.
Yeah, but it's a really fun game.
Hell yeah.
That's it. That's all I got.
Justin.
Yeah, so I haven't been on for a while.
Yeah.
I was going to say, who is this? Who are you?
I'm glad you're here tonight, bud.
I'm glad I could make it. I'm still very tired, but I'm glad I could be here tonight.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I haven't been on for a while. I've had a lot of personal stuff going on, so I was taking a little bit of time. Yeah, so I'm here tonight. I have still been playing some games. I did play through Final Fantasy 16. I did finish it. It was kind of up and down for me. It has some extremely high highs and some very low lows. I don't want to go too in depth into it because I think the positives, obviously outweigh it quite a bit for me.
Yeah.
And the stuff that it does well is stuff that was really important to me. But I do have some criticisms of it, but I did have a really, really good time with it. But I think you've all heard enough talk about that game, and I think the rest of the crew is kind of more equipped to really talk in depth about it than I am. But I had a good time. But I did get to play some really cool smaller games I haven't had a chance to talk about. So I'm just going to kind of go briefly through a few of those because some of them were really memorable. And one of them was Citizen Sleeper. This is a really cool game. It's a mostly text-based RPG, but it's similar to Disco Elysium where you it's mostly text and dialogue focused, but you have you do still have skills and stats, and those influence whether you're able to successfully complete things. And so it's similar to actually playing a pen and paper RPG, but that game had some writing that really, really, really stuck with me for a while.
That's a hard sci-fi, right?
Not semi-hard sci-fi. But it is a sci-fi thing. You're right. This you wake up as somebody who had their consciousness moved into this robot body, and that's decaying. So you have to work hard on this station to be able to get the supplies you need to keep your body from shutting down. And
are you sure they didn't just take a massive bong rip?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Is that the ending? You don't want to spoil the.
One of the endings is he just takes a massive bong rip, just vapes the entire space station. No, but there's some really, really good writing and some really great commentary on what it feels like to be just working to survive, and working to be able to afford your next meal. as well as like building community and stuff, and trying to like find ways to like monetize your skills. I don't know, it's a game that really stuck with me. And you know, the ending I got and the way I played it ended up working really well and being really poignant. I really loved Citizen Sleeper. And it's not super long. I finished the whole thing in about like 10 hours. So it was a really cool game. I had a lot of fun with that game. I played Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun, which Derek and I actually recorded a review for.
I've heard mixed reviews on this one.
It's good.
I have only good things to say about it.
Like if you like that style of shooter, if you like Warhammer,
I barely know what Warhammer is.
I mean, that's fine. You don't like that's the thing. Like Bolt Gun works very good as like that kind of like Doom, Quake influenced.
I like
shooter.
the pixely look of it though. Like,
yeah, I know.
Pretty.
Like if you dig that style of look and play of a shooter, you'll still have plenty to enjoy with Bolt Gun.
You know what, Justin? From a visual standpoint, it reminds me of Proteus.
Yes, it does. It's a lot. It's actually a lot like Proteus with how the visuals work. But yeah, I really dug Warhammer. Or Bolt Gun. That was one of those things that when it was announced, I'm like, this is so perfectly targeted at like the fan base of Warhammer. Like they're the right age to be people that, you know, like that type of like old school shooter. It obviously, you know, fits with the gory, dark setting of Warhammer.
I just think more games need a button that's dedicated to having Rahul Kohli
the
talk
Rahul
shit.
Kohli button.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, I'm just going to talk about the taunt button for the rest of the time I talk about it, because there's not much dialogue at all in the game. There's like 3 cutscenes, but the main character is voiced by Rahul Kohli, and there is just a dedicated taunt button, and you can mash this thing for so long and not hear a repeated line. And like he's a great actor, but he's also a big Warhammer fan, so he puts it all into there. So it's just him screaming, and it's amazing. Like the amount of effort they put just into the taunt button for this game. And like there's also so many lore references and stuff. Like it's actually canonically associated with Space Marine, and you'd only find that out if you got a certain taunt by pressing the taunt button and stuff, which is really cool.
Space Marine is the Gears one, right? Gears
yeah, it's like half Gears and half Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah. And Space Marine 2 is coming out next year, also.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to Space Marine 2. But let's see, I played some other small things. Oh, I played this really cool little indie horror game. It's been out on PC for a few years, but it just recently got a console release called There's No One Lives Under the Lighthouse. Or wait,
does somebody in fact live under the lighthouse?
God, I don't want him to spoil that.
You're not gonna fucking remember it anyway, CJ. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Game's only a couple hours long, but it's really cool.
Is it scary?
It's unnerving. Like it's like old, like it's like that PS1 throwback style.
Oh, I love this
visual look.
Oh, hold on. All right. Well, now I need to look it up.
This looks cool as hell.
Yeah, it's a first person game, and you play as this guy who's going onto an island to, you know, take care of the lighthouse after the last guy just kind of disappeared, gave up on what he was doing. You go through each
fucking the lighthouse.
It's pretty
different. That's because there's a lighthouse.
Like, I mean, you're alone on an island with a lighthouse, but like it is actually fairly different from the lighthouse, but same kind of vibes initially.
A lot less gay sex than the lighthouse.
A little bit less.
Does the lighthouse have gay sex? I haven't actually seen it.
Okay, no, hold up. I was about to do the whole boss baby like joke with you, but no, fuck it. You can't mention something it looks like something if you haven't seen the something, John.
Well, and look, no, dude, it looks as
Stop spreading like misinformation on
there
this
is
site.
Gay sex in the lighthouse.
If they can't trust SDGC for like accuracy, then who do they go to?
Who are they
going to go to?
True.
Who are they going to go to?
That's a solid point, CJ. I'm sorry. Please continue.
But yeah, the game's
professionals, you guys.
Game's only a couple hours long, but it's really neat, and it is unnerving in some really cool ways. I really dug it, and yeah, go check that out. It's only I think it was like $7 or something like that. Like it's cheap. It's on everything now. They released it on every console platform now. So and it's been on PC for a while. So yeah, go check that one out. It's really neat.
And Derek.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I have only played Final Fantasy 16, which I've said enough on at this point, and other people have said enough on at this point that I don't want to belabor
fuck Final
it.
Fantasy 16.
I'm not saying that, but
no,
because I do really enjoy the game. Like Justin said, like I have criticisms, I have some sharp criticisms, but overall I love it. So far. Can I take a second to talk about something cool today?
Yeah.
All right. So we had our first combat cast for Mortal Kombat 1, and y'all know I'm a Mortal Kombat sicko.
Yes.
You know, I don't actually think they're super good like fighting games. The last couple have been like, I think 9 was good. I think 10 was something that was close to being good, and then 11 was a mess.
9 is like as
The
close to
reboot
perfect as you can get with like a game in general. Like that is like 10 is 9 on PS4.
But they're still like super enjoyable, especially on like a casual level.
You didn't like
but
11 that much, Derek? I'm so sorry for you. Didn't like. I don't think we ever talked about. We ever talked about the reboot of the Mortal Kombat, because like those games are like so perfect. Like
narratively, I think they're fucking great. Like I love. I think it's like the peak of like putting good single player content in a fighting game.
Right.
But like I
didn't
vibe with the idea that like, okay, well, you're gonna have customizable versions of your characters. I don't like that. I didn't like it.
I didn't like it in Injustice 2. I really didn't like it in 11.
No.
I think 11 goes too far, and I hate that like there's too many variations. That's the thing, because like
it's infinite variations because you're just mixing shit around. I liked 10 better for having like three presets for each character, where it's like which of these gimmick versions of a character do you want to use, and like I kind of liked that.
Were you able to play the beta for Mortal Kombat
for
1?
No. Oh, for 11 or 1?
1.
No.
Okay, I thought maybe that's where we were going, so I was
no,
curious.
but just they did it's okay. They did the combat cast today, and they revealed several new characters, and they talked some about the world, because the whole idea behind Mortal Kombat lore dump. 11 ended with the second and even more drastic reboot. But actually,
how
like
many fucking times has this been rebooted now?
Okay, so technically an almost infinite number of times. That's actually the entire plot behind Mortal Kombat 11. So 9 was a reboot, right? Because Armageddon went so far that there was no way to come back from it. Armageddon was the end of existence.
Right. Yes.
So 9 was a reboot. 9 was like, okay, we're going to go back to Mortal Kombat 1 and redo the trilogy and change a couple things. And then 10 was a new game that was like, here's what happens because we changed some shit. And then 11 is dealing with the like collapse of the timeline, because it turns out that they've been trapped in an infinite number of timeline reboots for an infinite amount of time because of one god. And Liu Kang kills that god and becomes God at the end.
Yes.
And Liu Kang resets everything back to the Big Bang and reshapes history in his image, so that we are free from the timeline rebooting shenanigans that have been going on.
Oh my God! Shut the fuck up! I'm sorry I asked.
It's just comic book shit, dude.
This is awesome. So basically, they
Mortal
set it up.
Kombat is the most Marvel and DC comic shit to ever exist.
No, come on.
I just want to clarify. So they have now made it so canonically they cannot do another reboot, right?
But they're gonna. Trust me, they have to.
I just want to point out that the whole time Derek was explaining this, Derek was explaining this, Britt had that look on her face, like Vicky when I'm trying to explain Final Fantasy to her. Just like this look of utter detachment and disdain.
The moment you said, okay, so 9 was a reboot, I just went boo.
Yeah. But it needed to happen because Mortal Kombat went off the fucking rails by the time it was a reboot time.
Are you telling me Mortal Kombat went off the rails?
I know, right? Hey, look, they went off the rails in only 3 games this time instead of 7. So
you're telling me a game in which at
this rate, that's how we know Mortal Kombat 1 is going to end in another reboot. It almost has to.
You're telling me a game in which a fucking security guard can kill a god went off the rails? I don't believe you.
Yeah, right. But I love, like, as we learn more about this like rebooted Mortal Kombat world, because I think Mortal Kombat has some of the most fascinating, like, if you're a fucking comic book dork, Mortal Kombat is your shit. Like, it's
everything I want superhero
it's
movies
all
to
the
be,
good,
like,
weird, stacked up, like, way too dense comic book lore. So, like, having a world where fucking, like, Bihan is Sub-Zero, but Kai Lang is Scorpion instead of fucking Hanzo Hasashi. The younger Sub-Zero is Scorpion now. Sub-Zero and Scorpion are brothers this time.
Yes.
Like, Johnny Cage has been depowered. Shao Kahn is no longer the ruler of Outworld. Melina is the princess instead of Katana. Like, there's all kinds of weird shit going on with this, like, rebooted. It's cool. John, remember the first time you read Ultimate Spider-Man comics and you were like, wow, here's all the way things are different and the same. That's what's happening for me with Mortal Kombat 1.
That actually is the perfect explanation.
Because Mortal Kombat 9, when they rebooted, was a faithful reboot. That was, we're
like
going back
simple,
to the true...
No, I played Mortal Kombat 9,
It was, we reversed in time to try to find a way out of this. But Mortal Kombat 1 is, we literally restarted from the Big Bang and changed how history is constructed in the first place.
So Liu Kang is God now.
Liu Kang is God, and Raiden is just a humble monk. Raiden's just a dude.
So
it's
if
cool.
Liu Kang is
I love
God,
that shit.
If Liu Kang is God,
Liu Kang
Jesus
is Raiden.
is in this new continuity.
I mean, like, in theory, maybe. I don't know. You know,
like, what if Jesus is the son of Liu Kang, and that whole Fight of the Gods game is actually Mortal Kombat canon?
And what if Santa Claus and Batman fought? And what if Predator and, you know...
Well, don't say Predator, because now we're getting back into that actually happened in Mortal Kombat.
Oh,
so.
I forgot.
All right.
What, Predator and Freddy Krueger were in there?
No. Okay, Justin, hold up. I gotta correct you.
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger was in 9, Justin.
Yeah.
Get your head in the
I'm
game.
sorry. But he was in Mortal Kombat, right? He was in Mortal Kombat, right?
RoboCop and Terminator were in 11. So.
And
That's
Rambo.
right. Okay.
And Rambo.
Derek, is there anything else you've been playing?
That's what I got, is just Mortal Kombat. I love it. I hate it. It's stupid. I love it.
I keep forgetting it's coming out. I'm so excited for a new Mortal Kombat game.
CJ, can you remember what you've been playing? Or
Wait, John, can you remember to not be a fucking asshole while I'm trying to talk about video games on this podcast? How's that, buddy? I mean, you guys remember some fucking manners for once, all right? At least I didn't forget those. So,
I like you better when you're drunk.
Yeah, me too. Me too. All right. Anyway, last week. Oh, quick thing. My Final Fantasy 16 review went up. If you haven't had a chance to read that over at Game Critics, go read it.
It's fantastic. CJ, you fucking knocked it out of the park.
That took a lot out of me. That game and that review, but it's good. It's a great. It's well worth it. I talked about why I liked it a lot, and I consider it to be like one of those once in a generation, like, kind of AAA games, especially if someone like me who's like exhausted by a lot of modern gaming. So last week, after I finished the game, I decided to make it a point to play some more RPGs, especially ones that were already available on a lot of the services I'm subscribed to. So I talked about starting Ys 8, and I put in about like 5 hours into it. So anyway, I'm playing a bunch of racing games now. So I'm going to talk about fucking... that shit did not...
Hell yeah, dude.
From RPG to car PG.
Listen. We're entering the fall season, so we're getting a lot of good shit. 3 racing games are coming out this year that I'm really looking forward to: the Crew Motorfest, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, and Forza Motorsport. So naturally, I'm like, fuck it. I set up my Xbox on my desk. It's right here. I could have been playing Forza the whole time while doing this podcast, but I'm not rude. And I decided to play a little bit of Forza Horizon 5 on Friday just to like test out my monitor and everything. And I ended up playing for like 5 hours straight. A little drunk. It was nice. And it's still great. It's one of those things where like every time I go back to it, I remember like this is like not only like the standard at which most like big open world RPGs, big open world car racing games should like aspire to be. It's like probably the greatest like console exclusive we have this gen so far. It's just a wonderful, wonderful experience. I've also re-downloaded Hot Wheels Unleashed because I reviewed it back in 2021. Was kind of sour, like was kind of like cold on it. I liked a lot of it, but I felt like its progression system was like too complicated for it to like really go anywhere. Game Pass added all the DLC, so I jumped back in, reloaded my save. Pretty fun arcade racer. If you guys have Game Pass, Derek, I think you would. Have you played it?
No, I haven't.
You
and
played
I
Holly?
need
Okay,
to.
no, it's on Game Pass. I recommend it. It is like basically like Burnout, but like you're just racing. You're not doing.
You
any
just
crazy-
said the things that I want to hear.
It's
so,
wonderful.
Yeah.
What is it? I got really drunk on Monday and took a bunch of pictures of my in-game cars. Like I just spent hours looking at all the plastic and everything, and then this week I started The Crew 2 because Ubisoft announced that any cars that you unlock in The Crew 2, like they'll transfer over to the next game, which is a great feature. I think more games should. That's great. Like especially for someone like me who's like obsessed with like collecting cars and games. The only problem is you have to play through The Crew 2, and that handling is really, really, really rough. I just learned that it's not fun. I am not enjoying the early levels. It could be a skill issue because I'm bad at most games I play, but I'm not enjoying like the lower level cars. I'm really not enjoying the actual way the cars handle. I'm not enjoying the way the game looks. So we'll see how it goes. I'm really looking forward to Motorfest, but oof.
So CJ, I want to point something out to you. On that
Yes.
Vita I gave you,
Yes.
there is a ROM of Racing Lagoon, which is a legendary PS1 Squaresoft at the time racing JRPG that was never localized.
I've heard of it. I think. Hold up, because
There's a fan translation of it on that Vita I gave you.
Don't tell me that.
Should we say that out loud? I guess it's too late.
Who
Yeah,
cares,
We've said worse
cares?
things out loud on stream recently, so
Hey, that I remember. So shut the fuck up.
it's okay. I chopped it out. Nobody knows.
Oh, that's so sick. Did they use licensed cars, or is it all like?
I don't know actually.
This is gorgeous. This is exact. Oh my god, because I love. I mean, like anyone who follows me on
CJ,
Twitter.
it's both worlds for you. It's on
both.
the Vita right now.
I do. Oh my
It's
god.
on that Vita I gave you right now.
It's gorgeous. I love it, and like the designs are. Oh my god, I'm like
Right now, I feel like that. Right now, I feel like that Tim and Eric sketch where they're talking about real estate. And I'm like, CJ, it's here for you. It's on the Vita.
It's here. It's here.
It's here,
John-
CJ. It's
John,
free
I
games.
I'm just imagining like CJ like trying to sleep tonight, and like there's like a voice from like the like drawer where the Vita is, just like speaking to him like a Necronomicon or something.
Now I just have a mental picture of Brittany like looking at the camera, going, "It's on Vita."
and it's not even like a voice. It's just John calling me on Discord. That's sick. No, that's cool. That's cool.
Open my mouth and it's just the Discord call sound coming through.
God, you give me PTSD. But yeah, that's all I've been doing. Just racing games. I'm not playing anything else. I'm really sorry, guys. I let everyone down. I don't care. Go read my 16 review.
It's what I love and expect from you, and I'm glad that somebody is here to regularly bring us the joy of racing games.
Oh my god, it's the genre. Listen, guys, it's the only way
genre
of
kings.
It's the only way we can legally get drunk and like drive. It's wonderful. It's magic. You know what I did yesterday during my lunch break at work?
I got drunk and drove down the road.
I wish.
Got drunk and drove home.
Guys, hey, okay, listen, everyone in the comments.
Guys, can you keep this a secret? I committed vehicular manslaughter the other day.
Wow.
Hey,
Hey, he was back on time from his lunch break. It's fine.
Right? Hey, I consider that a personal victory. Guys, that's a new tier for the charity stream. One of us has to like drink a bunch of like Four Locos
and drive
and get behind the wheel of a truck.
Oh my god.
No, like yesterday.
Drunk driving may be bad, but it also helps a lot of people get to work on time. So who can really say?
It's just through the neighborhood. It's not a big
God.
deal. It's
All
just
right.
through the neighborhood. It's
But
not a
like
big
yes,
deal.
no, but funny. Like the last thing I'll point out, like in my weird recent game obsessed head right now, like yesterday during my lunch break at work, I pulled out my Switch, didn't play Zelda, didn't start any of the Pixel remasters, didn't make any progress in Advance Wars, didn't even finish up the Kirby game from earlier this year. You know what I did? Fucking played Burnout Paradise during my lunch break.
Hell yeah.
The greatest racing game ever made. Anyway, that's it. I'm done. Let's talk about whatever else we're gonna talk about. I'll try to remember.
So first big topic for the night. Guys, there's a lot of Capcom franchises out there
There
that
is.
have
Well,
been left moldering.
So specifically what happened recently is I guess there's some kind of Q&A or something. I don't know if it was like an investor. I don't remember the fucking details.
I think it was an
doesn't matter.
investor Q&A.
Yeah, and somebody asked about the fucking Grant. I drive drunk all the
Grant.
time. Hell yes.
Stop.
Fucking king.
Jesus Christ.
So good. Whew, anyway,
I
so
hate
yeah,
it here. I don't know why you come on the show every week.
Investor Q&A, Capcom was asked about Onimusha, Sengoku Basara, and I don't even remember the third one because it's like It's some like mobile game that they did one of that never even released in the US, I don't think. And Capcom gave kind of, to be fair, it's kind of a form answer, but they were like, we are genuinely looking at how we can, expand these franchises. And, hopefully like with these three in particular were series that did pretty well in Japan, but never caught on in the West. And it was like, and we're looking at ways that we can make these franchises catch on better in the West. So it's Capcom like acknowledging that in again, kind of a form way, like, yeah, we're looking at, doing more with maybe all of our franchises, but the specific acknowledgement of these are things that didn't do well in the West and we want to find out how to make that work is like Capcom's at this point between that and the leak pretty actively looking into a ton of their franchise. I mean, that leak had Onimusha, it had Power Stone. Like there's a lot that Capcom is looking into right now. They have huge stable of properties.
Derek, that's the thing, right? Is that like I feel like Capcom more than almost any other developer has the largest stable of franchises that are currently dormant.
I think Capcom, the part of it is because Capcom's library, like the only big publisher that has that good of a back library is Nintendo. Right? So it's like you can almost do with Capcom the same thing you can do with Nintendo, where you can just dig up series after series, one-off game after one-off game that has so much charm to it that some group of people love. I mean, Jaw Muncher is a micro niche internet celebrity based solely on loving Dino Crisis a whole lot. You know what I mean?
I literally just tagged him in a tweet.
But
it literally just happened.
But like this got me thinking, right? Capcom is a company on the rise, and we've pointed out several times that they're almost like the company you should pattern yourself after if you want to have a comeback. They're thinking about bringing back a ton of franchises. So like, what are some Capcom games and series you would like to see come back? And how do you think that would fit into today's gaming market?
I mean,
right? Like, what's a semi-realistic suggestion?
Damn,
Okami.
I'll take Dreams too. I mean, just acknowledge like it's a fucking dream.
I'm not a Capcom guy at all, but I have one that is like it's. So
I want to hear the left field one from CJ for sure.
Okay, so you guys go ahead. I'll go.
Okay, John, you said Okami.
Okami.
Yeah,
I mean they re-released it on everything all the time.
Yeah.
No. I mean another Okami.
Like
game.
A new Okami.
Like I want a new Okami. With Zelda kind of like changing the game and reinventing itself. I feel like there is a hunger for Zelda, like for Zelda
like a
right
traditional Zelda experience,
right?
And I feel like Okami, because it's only half a joke when I say that Okami is the best 3D Zelda game. Okami is a wonderful game, and if you haven't played it, you're really doing yourself a disservice. It is one of the most artistically beautiful games you will ever play. Amaterasu is one of my favorite. I mean, you're playing as a good dog. What's not to love? And I feel like with Zelda kind of dominating the cultural gaming zeitgeist right now, like the time has never been better for Capcom to capitalize on that and bring something like Okami back.
Okami's what I'd love to see. I'm curious because like when I think back on Okami, one of my favorite parts about that game, like is the fact that there's an entire like whole game before they even drop the title. You know what I mean?
And then there's 2 sequels after it.
Yeah, it's honestly like 4 Okami games in one, and like you beat what feels like you beat the game, and then it drops the title and says, "Now we're opening the game up. Go play the rest of the game." And you're like, "What?"
Yeah,
and then the game has like 3 fucking endings. We're like, okay, I have finished the game now, and it's like, nah, bitch, nope. Next chapter.
When you beat Orochi, you think it's the end, but nope, you've got another 20 hours.
Yeah, you beat the prologue.
Game.
Like,
yeah.
and I don't know how a new game can capture that like sense of surprise. But
Derek,
I'd love to see it.
Like with the power of the PS5, for example, or Xbox in its current state, like, can you imagine what they could do with Okami visually?
See, that's kind of thing is like the fact that you could do something cel shaded with that like Sumi-e like painted style. like also saves you a lot of the difficulty of like the super expensive, pseudo realistic, like modern, you know.
Right.
I mean, the asset creation process is way faster.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the big thing, honestly, for most games these days is just asset creation.
Right.
Now, I've said Okami. There are other Capcom franchises I would love to have back, but I already know what Britt wants.
Everybody knows what Britt wants.
But Britt, I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear you use your whole chest and speak that shit out to the universe.
Penis.
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
All right, you guys got that was good. All right.
Power Stone. Power Stone is the one that I want.
I think there's room for Power Stone, right?
There better be,
I mean, we know there is. It was on that Capcom leak.
Well, you know.
Well, I mean, it's been.
But here's the thing, though, Britt. Is it a new game or is it like a Power Stone collection?
It's going to be a collection.
You think?
I mean, I think you see a collection before a new game for sure.
So I think they're going to do the collection, and if the collection does well, maybe they'll think about doing another one.
I think the thing is, like, Power Stone doesn't feel like it takes away from the fighting game division, right? Because it's not like a fighting game. Right, it just fits in a different territory. It's like a little fun 3D brawler kind of game, like, you know. And there's room for. You almost wonder, like, because could you get away with making it like a $30 downloadable title, right? Like a new Power Stone.
Yeah,
absolutely,
well, like,
dude.
A bunch of indie games have already been doing Power Stone.
Yeah,
like I'm saying, like I've reviewed like a few. Like I'm saying, like they're doing it for that price point. You could.
What if you got like instead of a collection, you got like a Power Stone 1+2?
Yes,
like a fresh game that's all that's basically like here's all the 1 and 2 stuff together as a single title.
Britt and I would just spend all week playing Power Stone every night.
Put some Capcom characters in there.
Hold on, stream. Just Power
Hold
Stone.
on.
Should.
I gotta find a way to make it work.
I got some breaking news. News.
No!
Yes.
And this is also
online,
something,
isn't it?
That I remember broke while we were recording. Update on Yuji Naka.
Yes!
He has been sentenced to 2 years and 6 months in prison
for the crimes of releasing Balan Wonderworld.
Suspended for 4 years and has 2 fines of 2 million yen and 170 million yen.
Gotta face justice fast.
They got him with the Wesley Snipes.
Gotti.
Holy shit.
Usually not gonna get out of prison for a while.
That was good. Anyway, man, Balan Wonderworld 2 is gonna fucking rip, bro. After every rapper,
prison Balan,
Balan Wonderworld,
Balan Wonderworld has to take down fucking financial regulators.
Oh my god, guys! Look, most rappers, like when they go into prison, they drop like their hardest stuff. Lil Wayne recorded some good stuff behind bars. So did Tupac. Can you imagine Balan Wonderworld 2? Shit's gonna go so fucking hard. I'll come back. I will.
God.
Britt, aside from Power Stone and Penis, what other Capcom franchises would you like to see make a comeback?
I can tell you what Resident Evil I would love to see make a comeback, and that would be Code Veronica. I think
needs to happen.
Yeah,
needs to fucking happen.
Is that not available on like?
It's on PS5 as a downloadable title, but it's
not
like. It's not a remaster or anything.
Right.
It's like just like a slightly up-resed, like, right? Like I'm right about that, Britt. Like I know it's on there, but it's not like a re-release. It's just like a classic.
Yeah, no, I want like RE4, like it would be so good done in like the RE4 mode too, because it's such a like an interactive game. It's hard. Code Veronica's hard.
Yeah, it's hard as shit.
It is.
Well, I feel like Code Veronica is the game that I hear the most when you talk about Resident Evil games that people want to see again, even more than 4. Like before the 4 remake was announced, I heard people saying, "I want Code Veronica."
Well, like Ford didn't need it as bad, right? Like Code Veronica fucking
Code Veronica
needs it.
is a game that needs a
Code
remake.
Veronica has a lot of cool shit about it, but the process of either playing it for the first time or going back and replaying it to like re-experience your memories is not a good one these days. Like it doesn't hold up super well. It needs that remake.
It does,
and it deserves it.
like Claire deserves another like game. Like the Claire voice actress did such a good job. You know, it'd be interesting to like the Leon voice actor to see her take that role in a different position.
What's the bitch boy in Code Veronica? What's his name?
Steve
Burnside.
Steve Burnside.
We gotta make him. We gotta make him way fucking. We can make him worse.
They're gonna change him.
They would turn it. They're gonna crank up the baby girl quotient because Capcom's gotten really good at that. But I actually want them to make him worse. I do want them to make him like a fucking incel. You know.
Now, you like. I wonder how they would handle a character like Alex Ashford. That would be interesting.
I think Capcom could pull it off. I feel okay. I feel okay with them. You know.
Okay. Because Derek, like, if you know anything about Alex Ashford, you could really fuck that character up.
You can. But like, I don't think there's anything really inherently problematic about the story of the character of like them, like the whole thing about they've been dressing up as their like sister, you know, and playing both sides of the twin game. You know, I don't think it comes to like feeling like a commentary about transness or queerness or anything.
Yeah.
It feels like this dude who's like way too fucking maybe incest creepy about his sister, like dressing up. Charlotte's right. Like they're going to have to redo some of the language of the game, but like, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with, there's nothing wrong with the concept.
Yeah.
So
we got to address the dinosaur in the room on this one, right?
I mean,
John, you're not that old. Listen, you know what I'm saying? You're
it does feel like as good as the Resident Evil remakes have been. Like the fact that it feels like they're telegraphing that they're going to do Resident Evil 5 to me is like we're rapidly getting into like diminishing returns here. And
like
you know
they're absolutely going to do 5,
but
right?
a Dino Crisis revival feels
somehow
like a fucking sick idea that they should just do.
I mean, the thing about like a Dino Crisis revival is it could almost essentially be like a new series that just takes like cues from the original.
Yeah,
right.
You don't have to remake them. You can just here's Dino Crisis. What is this? You know,
like a reboot or something.
Like the thing about Dino Crisis is
nobody cares about Dino Crisis lore. It's just
like,
the vibes.
Yeah, it's Dino. Like I honestly at this point I would take just like a Dino Crisis collection, like something like acknowledge the
all
franchise
2 games.
Hey, look, they're 2 great. I replayed Dino Crisis earlier this year. Like it holds the fuck up. It's a fun game.
Like, how do you have time to replay like all these old games?
We talked about it last week.
Did we?
Yes, I remember that.
Was I here?
You remember it? Yes.
Okay.
Because
I don't even remember that.
because I have a very accommodating wife.
Yeah. Ain't that the fucking truth?
I mean, let's just call it what it is. But yeah, like I play more video games than you guys fucking realize. But yeah, no, like Dino Crisis seems like a no-brainer, especially with how successful their Resident Evil remakes
and how much people love fucking dinosaurs, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jurassic World. Jurassic Park just turned 30, man. Like,
why
isn't
the Jurassic World movies all of them have been so bad, and they each make $1 bajillion. Yeah. People love dinosaurs. Just fucking make like a complete non-script got greenlit just because somebody wrote the words Adam Driver versus dinosaurs, and they made a movie. Like
question from chat: would they even make it with Exoprimal around? Yes.
Oh, from Arrow. I think they would. I think the reason is like Exoprimal is obviously filling like a very different need, and that it's an online like PvE game. And I think it's going to be good. Like, I'm pretty excited. Versus Dino Crisis to me feels like a way that you help alleviate the Resident Evil burnout, right? When Resident Evil burnout starts to set in, do Dino Crisis instead. You can keep making the same fucking game, but because it's dinosaurs instead of zombies, people will be like, this shit is good, and they will feel refreshed when Resident Evil 6 remake comes out or whatever.
And also like Dino Crisis doesn't have the same kind of like fan base and like legacy of Resident Evil, so they could do a lot within it without, you know, worrying about like angering the fan base or whatever.
Yeah.
And they could like, I mean, and to Derek's point, they could completely reboot it. You don't have to remake it.
Yeah.
Just
have Regina and have dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
That's all you need.
Can I mention one that I would love to see?
Yes.
No. Yes.
Beautiful Joe.
Yes. Yes. Last
That-
action hero of the video game. Yes,
boy.
please.
That
God
game, that game is like one of my most memorable like childhood memories. Was picking that
Action
game up.
Go-Go.
Oh yeah, I bought that game just because I liked the look of the screenshots in a magazine. I didn't know anything about it.
Oh, Davidson is in the house.
That game changed my goddamn life. Like it was so funny. It was so fun. It was so clever. It was so creative. Like I just adored that game. I had so much fun. Figuring it out. There's still absolutely nothing that plays like it.
This conversation is actually pissing me off, Justin. It's pissing me off, and I'll tell you why. Because you're talking about Beautiful Joe. We've talked about Okami. We've talked about Dino Crisis, Power Stone, and we're getting a fucking Shadows of the Damned rematch. Like, who fucking cares? Like, Shadows of the Damned, I'm sorry, sucks ass. That game sucks.
I enjoyed Shadows
sucks
of the
my
Damned.
fucking ass.
I'm excited for that game.
Shadows of the
Sucked my
Damned.
fucking sphincter right out of my butt cheeks.
Yeah,
that
well.
game
Oh,
sucks.
John
Okay.
clearly doesn't
Fuck that
remember the
game.
Big Johnson sections.
No, I do remember it.
The
Taste my
big boner.
Taste my big boner.
Fuck that
Fucking
game.
game.
Jesus, that accent. Holy shit. I
It's
like
bad,
that.
dude.
Oh, I'm hyped. I'm so
So-
hyped. I'm
And
so
then
hyped.
also, we haven't mentioned it yet, but like, I would love to see Capcom really like revisit and examine what it would take to make like a modern reinvention of Mega Man. And like, I'm not talking about like just trying to like, follow trends or something, but like try to bring Mega Man back in a way that would really resonate with people nowadays.
That isn't just
I
we're
don't
making another retro style Mega Man
Like,
game,
I
but like
don't
Well,
know
I mean,
exactly
the series
what it would-
creator kind of left, so that might
good.
be hard.
Inafune
Good.
sucks.
Yeah.
And I know.
I don't know much about him.
I don't know that he sucks as a person. I've heard he's kind of an asshole, but like many
I mean, I'm
creators
kind
of
of
the
an
time
asshole.
were. But Inafune lost his touch a long fucking time ago. It's really
but
that
yeah, like,
simple.
Mega Man is something that like, the Mega Man Legends games were really great. And like those are some of the only 3D Mega Man games that we had. And those were what, 20 something years ago at this point?
Yeah.
A modern trombone would be so sick.
Yeah, like
Oh my God.
I would love to see Capcom like really push themselves to try to like make some kind of like really cool like platform / action game with Mega Man, and really try to like make what is essentially like their core mascot character, even though Capcom's whole thing is that they have a lot of really cool characters, but like
Yeah.
Or maybe
like,
just like
Mega Man's such a classic
finish
character.
Mega
It-
Man Legends 3 and release it. Like, just do that.
I think
I'd
I'm
be
kind of
fine with
more
that.
on like Justin's case of like I think I just want to see what happens if somebody tries to like make
like,
a
imagine-
modest budget like new Mega Man
Ratchet and
that
Clank,
isn't,
like a Ratchet and Clank clone,
Maybe,
but it's
yeah.
Mega Man.
but just something that's not
give me
just I made.
Darkstalkers. Give me Dark. Let me see that.
I would
updated.
fight for a new Darkstalkers for sure.
I'd love to see that updated.
I think they're just
Re-release.
I really think we're just gonna see a Capcom versus Capcom, but I think you're gonna see a lot of Darkstalkers in that.
Marvel versus Capcom
I
isn't
think
coming
that's a
back, right?
very
No, Marvel vs.
No.
Capcom's done. I mean,
but
it's just
I
never
think
happening
Capcom's
again.
Capcom has such a strong enough character lineup, like they can do a Capcom versus
Mhm.
game, and they could probably also even have some crossovers from other fighting game
But why
franchises.
do they
and
need
stuff,
to? Because they have
they
so
don't need
much.
to- yeah, but like
They own like 8 fighting game franchises, so
yeah,
All right,
like
I got
a
one for-
straight up Capcom versus game like is something that like I would actually be really excited for, because like they could go nuts with the cast and just have a lot of fun with it.
yeah.
I got one for Brit specifically. Brit,
Uh-oh.
what's your experience with Breath of Fire?
I've never played it.
Oh,
You tried.
you
Never played it.
You got it.
I've heard
So,
great things about it, but I've never played it.
Breath of
You have a few
Fire.
mutuals on Twitter who are like
Reb
obsessed.
loves that game,
Yeah.
doesn't she?
Yes, and Breath of Fire, and rightfully so, because Breath of Fire 3 especially is one of the all-time greats. And I feel like a remaster of Breath of Fire 3 and 4 to begin with would be fucking like, and here's the thing about all of this that frustrates me, right? Like there's a demand for old Capcom games to come back. Like look at the sales numbers for Battle Network collections. Like I wasn't I know sure as shit Capcom wasn't expecting that.
Capcom can easily just drop like Beautiful Joe 1 and 2 collection.
Yeah.
You know, well, maybe not easily, but like it's like Capcom could make so much money on remasters and re-releases at this point.
Like,
for sure.
a quick and dirty Beautiful Joe, like just 2-pack
drop
or
it on the
something.
eShop.
Like I would buy that on multiple platforms.
Yeah.
Drop it on the eShop. What about fucking I mean, Breath of Fire 3 is the one that jumps out to me. What
Breath of Fire 3 would be cool. I think that might be the only one I've played.
Breath of Fire 3 is a stone cold classic. Just an amazing.
That's like the
game.
one of the franchise that really stands the test of time. I mean, like there's
that's
multiple
like
good ones, but
it's one of those series where it's like we all have the one game in the series. Like people might like the other ones to varying amounts and might like them a lot, but like 3 is the
right. Now, if you're talking about Capcom franchises that need to come back from the dead, you got to talk about Onimusha.
See, I think Onimusha is almost the most likely, right? I think Onimusha is inevitable.
I thought that game that they announced at the Xbox conference was Onimusha
for a moment.
First.
Yeah.
We need a good AAA samurai game. We need a good AAA, a good one, guys. A good
Onimusha truly feels inevitable to me. Like that is more than anything else.
Is the original worth playing? Because it's on.
I
think so.
Like the HD version, because I can't deal with like the fixed camera angles. But
CJ, you could burn through that game in 5 hours.
Here's a really cursed idea for Onimusha.
No.
All right, let me just throw this out there. So,
let me set the scene. He says.
So you remember how they use
Allow me to paint you a picture.
A couple pretty famous actors. Was it Onimusha? Was it 2 or 3 that they did that?
It's
for?
Dawn of Souls, I think, is the one.
No,
right?
3. Jean Reno and
Jean Reno and
oh
yeah, I don't know who the other one was.
Yeah, they used his likeness too.
Yeah,
Jean Reno from Ronin. He was
yeah.
Jean Reno. He was.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I prefer Jean Reno from 1999 Godzilla. But go ahead.
1998.
How
John.
dare you say this out loud?
The same year. Ronin came out the same year.
Yeah, but so who are the actors that they would cast in it these days? So it would be like Chris Pratt and The Rock.
Chris Pratt, The Rock.
That's so sadly accurate. I hate it.
Zachary
I
Levi.
hate it.
Scarlett Johansson is Samanosuke.
Tom Holland because his agent sucks.
Tom Holland. Yeah, Tom Holland would.
Oh, Tyrese really needs a franchise, so he'll be in it somehow.
Vin getting the whole family in Onimusha.
Vin Diesel as Nobunaga Oda.
I don't have honor.
It's okay because they'll have fucking Hiroyuki Sanada in there just to balance it out. Like
Onimusha with Nick Cage.
Okay, but I'd play that though.
I mean,
I'd play that.
Yo, hold on. Onimusha with Nick Cage and
they might
Keanu.
be cooking. They might be cooking.
Oh my god, yes! 47 Road in the game. 47 Road in the. Yo, put Tom Cruise
They
in
need
there.
to not be cooking. All right.
It's the last samurai game. You put Tom Cruise, Ken Watanabe in there. You got it. 100%.
Britt, you're telling me that you would not play an Onimusha game with Nick Cage and Keanu.
Nick Cage has to be the villain, right?
He's
Nick
already,
Cage has to be
that he does not belong in.
Nick Cage has to be like a Dutch, like a fucking Dutch merchant who is like
Britt. Have
we talked about that?
Yes.
No, Britt.
It's insane.
I wanted to get announced so Nick Cage could come out on stage at the Game Awards and talk about Onimusha. That's what I want to see.
Poor guy, man.
Nick Cage as the next Final Fantasy 17.
Put Al Pacino in there, bro. He's got to pay for like his fucking child.
It sucks because Nick Cage sucks. Like outside
Does he suck?
He does.
He suck?
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know that.
I've always heard he was just like a weird kind of quiet dude. I didn't know he sucked. I didn't know.
He is known for having a type. And that type is usually
don't like that.
Yeah, he's
don't
also
like that.
He also has like some weird domestic abuse stuff like in his like.
Does he
well,
really?
Fuck.
I didn't know that.
You guys don't know everything. About the
yeah,
people
everybody
he
loves
rushes?
Nick Cage, but I'm
no. Good to know. Don't like that.
You know what Capcom series I want to see? Right, a game.
Well, that's why. That's why we need fucking what's his face. We need Keanu because Keanu has no scandals.
Don't see the problem is the bigger we build up Keanu, the more it's going to destroy you when the fall comes. Don't say
kind of
that.
was the star of Cyberpunk. Like he kind of was the face of marketing for Cyberpunk. Like
It was
Keanu
47
personally
Ronin
wrote those
already.
black crime statistics in Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that was his idea. That was his idea.
So I got a few.
Great one.
I got
All
a
right.
few.
Let's hear it, Derek.
Go there.
So here's the deal. This, like, Sengoku Basara was one of the ones that was brought up. For those of you who aren't familiar,
all right, I don't
Sengoku
know what
Basara
this
is their, like, Musou series. It's their
Okay.
Samurai Warriors. It's actually, it used to be, John, that Sengoku Basara and Samurai Warriors were directly competing to the point that when a character, like a historical figure, would get added in one, it had to get added in the other. Like, they used to be in direct competition with each other.
Derek, I got a question.
Yeah.
Because you might be able to clarify what I had this confused with.
Okay.
So when I saw that name come up, I thought it was one of those anime titty games that was on the Vita.
I mean, it's not, but
Okay,
Sengoku
okay.
Basara is so anime, and at least one of the girls is very titties.
Okay.
So you were
like,
thinking
it's
of
anime.
Senran Kagura, right?
You're thinking of Senran Kagura for sure.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of.
Which is
Yeah.
nothing but
Derek,
titties.
I'm still pissed off at you about that.
That's not the game I made you play.
Whatever, I'm still pissed off about it.
That was
Anyway, please
that was Hyperdimension Neptunia that I made you play.
Right. Anyway, please continue.
But Sengoku Basara, I always loved. It is easily the like highest quality of the Musou games because the most care and thought has been put into every character's moveset to make them like a fulfilling character action game style character within the format of like a Musou clear through 1,000 dudes, complete some field objectives, go take on an end boss in the field. And I'm really curious what a modern Capcom could do with that. I feel like Exoprimal is a test of the RE Engine's ability to handle like hordes of enemies.
That's an
And
interesting theory.
Sengoku Basara is almost like one of two franchises that would be like a perfect reason to test that because it used to make them some money. Plus, we just haven't seen what anybody can do. Like, Tecmo Koei's not in a fucking rush to make a new Dynasty Warriors game for PlayStation 5 and try to use that power and SSD for anything. And they don't have money either, so it doesn't matter. Like, they're not going to pump dollars into a Dynasty Warriors game, but Capcom would with Sengoku Basara.
Derek, that actually gave me an idea. Koei Tecmo does a lot of like collaboration stuff with other Japanese developers and publishers. Could they even maybe work with Capcom on something like that?
They could.
They
I think
could.
Capcom, has people, right, that can do this, so I don't think they need to. And in fact, I think part of what makes Sengoku Basara special to me is that it was directly the competitor to that like did better than.
Okay.
So I think that's big. I think if we're talking about Exoprimal being a test of the RE Engine using hordes of enemies, I think the other thing it brings to mind is Dead Rising.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
Dead Rising is a series that has like, I think the magic has slowly been lost since the first game, right? The first two are really good times, and then the third and the fourth just do not have it. But I think Capcom could really go back to, what made Dead Rising 1 and 2 worked, right? The more constrained locations, right? The time management, the almost roguelite elements of the game where like it's expected you're going to fail and new game plus from a failed state and come back in with higher levels and more knowledge and do better this time. Like, I think Capcom could do it. And I think Dead Rising is a Capcom series that has a lot of potential to make waves in like a big showcase, right?
I forgot about Dead Rising, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, but like
I think Capcom might have too, but
those first two games are good. Like, and Capcom hasn't for sure, but I think they need the right time. And I think these systems might be, and the RE Engine might be like our time for Dead Rising. My last one, and I'm sorry to do 3 in a row, but to be fair, I did sit on these the entire time, is Lost Planet.
Yo,
Lost Planet was the
think-
other one I wanted to
yeah.
mention. Yeah,
I think
Planet is
Lost
super cool.
Planet is something
Yeah.
that, like, Lost Planet 3 was a huge misstep, speaking of Nick Cage. But, like, Lost Planet 1 and 2 were these really like, Lost Planet 1 is a really interesting, like, narrative third-person shooter with weird, like, survival elements in it. And then Lost Planet 2 becomes this kind of weird, like, we put a little Monster Hunter into our Lost Planet and made this weird arcadey co-op shooter. And I think that there's a lot of room to make a big new Lost Planet and make like a service game, like multiplayer mode out of like online co-op PvE stuff, kind of like they're doing with Exoprimal. So Errol Moss in chat saying, hasn't there been a rumor of the Lost Planet devs were on Exoprimal? That might be true. Exoprimal feels like it could be an excellent, like, first run at what would be the multiplayer mode of a Lost Planet 4. You know, and I just think that, like, Lost Planet is one of those series that, again, could be, it's not a franchise people think of because it's not retro, but I think it's perfectly primed to take over this generation. I really do. If
That's
they do
a
it right.
solid play, Derek.
Yeah.
Solid. Now, so I'm gonna
Drop
drop
them wild
two,
cards, motherfucker.
I'm gonna drop 2 wild cards on you
Charlotte
guys.
says Final Fantasy
Wait.
6 isn't a Capcom game, John.
I mean, look, it can be. It could
no.
be if you think hard
No.
enough. but
It's
no.
not.
No.
It's not. No, you
there's
can't.
no
You
world
can't.
where
do
it
it.
is.
So check this out. So first, Bionic Commando.
Sick.
I don't
With Mike
know how
Patton-
they do it, but I'd be
with Mike
interested.
Patton back. With Mike Patton
Yeah,
back.
actually,
Yes, yeah.
unironically, yes. Bring Mike
Yes.
Patton
Yeah.
back.
But
Mike
here's-
Patton's a
but-
fun voice actor. I do
But
like him.
what I want to see even more than Bionic Commando, and the one I really want, that won't happen, Strider.
Strider came
Oh
back.
no, man.
I
There
would
was
a-
love
There's a
to fucking see
Strider on
come back.
PS4 and Xbox
We
One.
had that really good, like,
It was pretty good.
Metroidvania.
No. I want a full fat big budget fucking
Like character action game. I think you could see
third-person
it.
Strider. Like
I could see them putting the Devil May Cry team on that rather than making Devil May Cry
I
6.
mean,
fucking-
honestly-
oh my god, Derek,
honestly,
fucking
this-
devil, yeah. Oh,
Just-
I could see
That's
Itsuno
perfect.
being on that shit, dude.
The
know.
character design of Strider is just so good that I think you could put it onto like any like decent action game, and I think people
Yeah.
would be into it.
God, no.
And you
even
know
if it
they
was,
love him
like-
because one of the biggest new characters for Street Fighter V's later DLC was a fucking ninja that turns into Strider Hiryu.
Okay.
Like,
No,
Wait, really?
hold
I
up.
didn't know about that.
Oh, yeah.
That same idea. Hold up, because I don't know a lot of Capcom franchises. I had one idea, but you just gave. All right, put the DMC team on a Ghosts and Goblins reboot. Come on, let me play. As,
I
like,
actually
don't know,
love the idea of doing like a 3D Ghosts and Goblins. I don't
Or
know
maybe
that I
not.
want to go Devil May
Or
they
Cry.
did
Oh my
Maximo?
God. Did
they
like
did
make
it.
the 3D?
Maximo was good.
exists.
I never played it.
Maximo's
Oh, you're
good. That's a
missing out.
great like 3D take on like Ghosts and Goblins.
Because
Yeah.
I love the original Ghosts and Goblins. I really, really like that game. That's a really, really.
You know what
fun
we
game.
haven't had in a while?
Well, didn't they just remake the first Ghosts and Goblins?
They made like a
on Switch?
new,
yeah.
and it's excellent. But
What were you
Britt,
saying,
you were
Britt?
saying?
They haven't made a Street Fighter game in a little bit. I saw.
Sorry, yeah.
Probably need to-
Yeah.
Street Fighter 7 should come out next year.
Maybe they could put Rashid in it.
Motherfucking Rival Schools, which isn't gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah, Rival
But-
Schools is officially a sub branch of Street Fighter now. So
Rival Schools.
wild.
What about? Okay, here's the ultimate wild card, Derek. Here it is, right here. 1942.
Oh fuck yes! Holy shit! I love shmups so much. Look,
if I
Oh
could
my-
get a good Capcom shmup, like a good
It-
downloadable $20 fucking new.
1942.
See, the
Okay.
thing is just like playing that outside of like a pizza place or like just some like random like
We can
arcade in
launch
a
it.
mall.
Outside of like a
Watch it
Champs
after
roller
dinner.
drome.
Yeah.
Justin, you could bring your Switch into a fucking pizza place and get the same experience.
No, that's not the same.
It's not the same.
You absolutely fucking could.
okay, guys, hold up. Here's my wild card. I just dropped a bunch of pictures in the chat. So back in
What
03,
the fuck is this?
hold up. Back in 03, Capcom decided to enter the racing game market to compete with Gran Turismo, and they dropped
Auto
Modelista.
Modelista.
Okay, gorgeous game. Like, look, the style's
Yeah,
great.
it still looks good.
So the problem
What?
though is
I looked at that first one and I was like, what is this initial D fucking screenshot?
Okay,
but
the problem, so it's not an arcade racer, it's a sim game like Gran Turismo. The problem is they fucked up the handling in the US version, and it doesn't play as well as the Japanese version, right? I think if they dropped it today, same like, you know, emphasis on like Japanese and American cars, they do all the simulation stuff. I think it could do well, kind of like the last Need for Speed that came out with its weird like cell shaded stuff. And it's a wild card. I think Capcom's exhausted. I don't think Capcom would ever attempt to do a racer.
CJ, I got one for you.
What?
Gargoyle's Quest.
Since Gargoyle's
I mean, it's just back into Ghosts and Goblins.
Are you just
never
are you
played
just going to the
Gargoyle's Quest?
Wikipedia page now and just trying
Yes.
to find one that no one has
To be fair, 1942 was a giveaway there.
No, I'm just trying to think of Capcom games. I didn't
But,
go to
like,
Wikipedia,
there's
but I
a
do have
lot.
like,
God Hand. Bring back God Hand somehow, bro.
There's so
I never
much in
played that.
Capcom's stable
Me either.
that's
I never played that.
worth bringing back.
You know, like I would like a Capcom, like this won't happen, but a Capcom fighting collection of all their licensed fighters, like X-Men Children of Atom, Street Fighter versus X-Men, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That would be cool. What's their Brawler series? With
Final Fight?
Final Fight.
Final Fight would be sick. Like, remember that 3D Final Fight that was like a weird, like new metal version of
Final
it?
Fight, like Rivals or whatever it was called. Like,
some
Bring back
weird-
the fucking Chippendale Rescue
Revenge.
Rangers games.
They did.
Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
They literally did, yeah.
There's the Disney
Did they
Saturday
really?
morning, the Disney afternoon collection. Yeah, it's great.
I did not know that. No shit.
Yeah, it comes with DuckTales. It comes with Darkwing Duck. It comes with
DuckTales is. It's not that stupid remaster though, is it? Like the original
not the
DuckTales
remake.
is still okay.
It's the original. Yes, you can get it on PlayStation. It's called
that's
Afternoon
fucking
Collection.
great. I did not know that.
I got a last one before we move on.
Okay, yes.
All right, let's hear it.
Let Capcom develop Zelda again.
Okay.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna
They did
happen.
Oracle of Ages and
Capcom
Seasons.
made some of the best Zelda games
And
in the
Minish Cap.
franchise. Yeah.
How about
So-
just
They're good.
release a new fucking Ace Attorney game already?
That'll
Like,
happen. It hasn't been that long.
dude. It's been
It's
pretty
okay.
fucking long.
We
I thought
just
they
got
released one like 2 years ago.
got really
Whoa,
cool remakes
guys,
of
no, come
re-releases of the
You're all baby brained right now, guys. Look, CyberConnect 2 is having a pretty good couple years. You know what needs to happen, right? Final Fantasy 16 has some pretty good boss fights. You know what needs to happen, right?
Asura's Wrath,
Asura's
baby.
Wrath 2.
Asura's
They
Wrath.
gotta bring it back. Look,
Starring
CyberConnect-
Vin Diesel.
Yes. The thing with CyberConnect 2 is they're like in jail and they're making bad anime games. Can you imagine if Capcom decided, here's like
Can
$1
you
billion?
imagine if they got away from Bandai Namco jail? Like-
Exactly. And they're Capcom jail? They're
Yeah.
Capcom-
All I know is that Brit is on point when she says Power Stone because that's the one that we need the most. It's
Power
Power
Stone will heal the
Stone.
nation.
Fucking
It'll
bust.
heal the.
To
it'll
be
heal
fair,
the nation.
my first answer was penis, and so I also agree with.
You can be
Penis
pretty
will
on
unite
point when
the
you say
world.
penis.
What whole Brit? Are you talking about like new penis or like penis remastered, like HD penis? Like
Code Veronica penis. I don't know.
Either way, it's going to disappoint me. So next subject, please.
Look, we bring back Dark Void. We bring back Remember Me. Holy shit, Spyborgs. You guys remember Spyborgs? Of course you do.
Spyborgs.
still
Nobody
going.
played Spyborgs.
Zack and Wiki.
Zack and Wiki was good.
I
You're
would
just
love-
reading a Wikipedia list, but
Yeah,
Zack and
because I
Wiki
don't
was
play-
good.
I don't know any Capcom games.
Yeah.
I'm trying to contribute.
Actually, no bullshit. Like a game that everybody should go out and find a way to play. I can't legally tell you to go.
You already
download the
did.
thing, but
Might as well.
but there is the actual, and Derek, you might have heard of this. There's a game called Sweet Home that on the NES.
Yo,
Is the actual
that was the inspiration.
like the
original
inspiration.
inspiration for
Don't
Resident Evil.
don't go play it. It's actually not very good to play.
Can you
but-
imagine
well, no,
if they
no,
revisit
but-
the concept and they make a house video game? Like they
Well, see,
take the
but see,
movie
that's
house.
the thing. Like it doesn't hold up gameplay wise, but it's a fascinating
No,
look into early.
Derek, I'm talking
Capcom.
about the Japanese movie house, not the show.
Right.
Right,
See, you actually had me with making House
No.
MD the video game, but
There's this horror film from the 60s called Hasu, or I've heard pronounce it. It's a horror.
yeah.
It's a horror film that Capcom pulled from to make Sweet Home, right? And then that became Resident Evil. I would like to see some avant-garde like survival horror game, because look, that fucking Silent Hill 2 remake's not going to be great. So I would like
No.
Capcom to do a psychological horror game.
Did we talk about that on here? How garbage that's going to be?
I think we brought it up. We brought it up at last
I
year's.
think
charity
when it
stream.
was revealed, we were
We were
like,
all
I don't feel
clowning
good
on it.
about
We were
that.
all
No, but
laughing
like
at it.
we for sure like don't think it's going to be good because they
No.
want to get away from horror. Isn't that what they said or something?
They
like
want to
that?
get away from
Yeah.
psychological horror.
They want to get away
It's
from
like,
psychological horror, and they said
Which
that
probably
is
because they're
Remake
not.
is going to be
That's-
their first game that's showing off their new development philosophy.
Probably because they're not very good at psychological horror, and they're
What do you mean?
honestly
You guys
not
don't
very
like
good.
it when they tell you that your mental health problems are like not valid or anything? You don't like
Right.
it when
I
games tell you
love-
Hey, actually,
that.
the fact that you've been traumatized means that you're fucking doomed
It's a moral
to
failing
to
on your- on
abuse
your
other
end.
people. Well, yeah, exactly. It is. It's your
We
fault.
said no trauma bonding tonight.
What is it? No, it's finally it's definitive and canon proof that the game sympathizes with its main character as opposed to
Right.
Fuck it. Capcom needs to bring back Age of Booty.
Why are we still talking about Capcom? Like,
Guys, I tried to
move
get us on. I
All
made
right.
the Zelda joke, and it we kept going.
Games
Um,
is games is life.
So
Games
here's the
is
deal.
Forever games.
Blizzard announced like a Diablo developer diary today to announce like some of the details on season 1 of Diablo 4. And man, as somebody who loves Diablo, who grew up on this series, to read people's online reactions was fucking insane because it's just a shitload of
I don't
people
know
going,
anything about it.
this game's bullshit. There's nothing to do after level 70. Once you've done 30 nightmare dungeons, it's all the same, and you run out of legendary
Right,
gear to
are you
get. And I'm like,
serious?
I'm just sitting here like, this game just came out, and you're expecting like infinite hours of content already. And we're now at a point where, and I can tell you the narrative already, right? Is Diablo 4 is going to have to spend years playing catch up to people's expectations. And my belief is that people's expectations on this stuff, and like, that's a good point. Like Delby bringing up Destiny, right? Is like, I think Destiny is almost like the origin of a lot of this stuff. Although I think Destiny does better in a lot of games. We saw this with fucking Monster Hunter, right? Both Monster Hunters. Like any big online game with a post game that has like a loot system falls into this trap where the player base gets pissed because the numbers stop going up.
Right.
Well,
And they go, why am I even playing this game?
And it's people that all like have like pinpoint optimized exactly how to make progress the fastest. They blow through it in a couple days, and then they're like, where's the rest? And then their voices get amplified so much because a lot of them are content creators, a lot of them are influencers, a lot of them are like have a lot of followers and stuff within those communities on various social media networks, and then their voices get amplified, and then their opinions echo throughout the fan base when it's not even applicable to how most people actually play and take in these games.
Right.
Like, I just beat it. Beat it.
Yeah, you beat it once with a single character class, and there's 5 in the game right now that all play completely differently.
Yep.
You know? Like, that's
bizarre.
I think of my time playing Diablo 2 and the number of times I played it, and for me the point was always play with friends, right? Have that cooperative experience and like try something new with a class that I had not done before. Because it's not just that there are 5 classes, it's that the builds are so different. I'm playing a druid right now, and I'm putting all my points into the different shape-shifting abilities.
Right.
That's so different from if I'd done like storm or earth magic. So like, it's totally worth it for me to just do a new run with a new character and try new shit out. But,
yeah, I mean, there's like Sorcerer, that's what I'm playing, has like fire, ice, lightning. And it's like, those are the 3 main ones. And it's like, you can go through and do whatever you want. And it's like, so I think the thing that happens is people get overwhelmed with the amount of options they have. So they go and they look up like guides or things to help them like decipher what to do. And unfortunately, like, well, not unfortunately, but usually those guides have like the best builds. And like the fastest way to do things, and they follow that, and they're just then they get in that mindset of like, well, now I have nothing to do, blah blah blah, and it's like, well, the game wasn't supposed to be played like you fucking maxing out and getting everything that you need easily. Like, the whole point of the game is to grind for gear. Like, that's it.
I think you're exactly right. It's a completely incorrect mindset on how to even experience these games in the first place.
Right, like people go into these things and they are anal. They immediately want to be the best. They immediately want to have the best gear. And it's, it's frustrating. Like, admittedly, I looked up a guide just because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And I follow it, but I like loosely follow it, like I play around. I see what's comfortable for me.
It gave
and what
you
I'm gonna
guidance.
like. Yeah.
It's so many
And the problem is people take that and like streamline that shit to the fullest.
People just try to play games in like the most optimized way, and it actually is hurting a lot of service games in a lot of different ways. Like even beyond just like loot stuff and build stuff, but like you get like people that do like big breakdowns of like gun stats and attachment combos and stuff in like online shooters and stuff, and everybody becomes so upset with the meta that developers actually just have to like patch and nerf stuff beyond just trying to achieve balance, but just so that people use other things to inject some variety into the game. It's just change for change's sake.
MMOs are like the exact same way.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
And it makes sense to a degree with stuff like MMOs or like even Destiny, where like, okay, yeah, we're going to keep doing like expansions every year or two to like bring you huge batches of new content, right? And in that case, that's not the season model. That's the actual expansion drop.
Well, they have have seasons too.
Well, right. But I mean, like it's the expansions that drive the big new content drops. Yeah. But like, I think that the wake up call for me on this stuff had to be Monster Hunter World, because Monster Hunter World dropped and I'd been playing Monster Hunter since the PS2, right? And like those games end, right? There's a point where you've beaten the final boss and there might be a couple cool things past that, but eventually you've done everything there is to do in the game and you're just playing for the sake of enjoying the game. I played Monster Hunter World. It took me 80 hours to roll credits, right? That's to beat the final boss of the story, not to do everything in the game. 80 fucking hours. By any stretch of the imagination, that is a huge amount of time to get out of a $60 game, right? And yet, I watched people who had like 300 hours in this game going like, bro, I've done all the arch-tempered, fucking Nergigante, and I've run out of Wyvern stones, and like, I can't, like, there's nothing left to do. And it's like, yeah, then the game's over, dude. Games have to end.
No, they don't. No, are you kidding me?
No, stop.
If a game is not built solely on PvP, like a game has to end eventually.
And like, and I think like, and maybe this is a little unfair, but I mean, I do think stuff like Fortnite has really like completely like broken people's expectations.
100%.
Because one, that's a free to play game too. So like
with really aggressive monetization,
with really aggressive, skins monetization and stuff. But like people go in thinking, oh well, if I can get this free game that's updated all the time, without realizing that has 800 plus people constantly working on it.
Yeah,
that
crunching themselves to death to put out all this content.
And like they're like, oh well, this is a free game that gives me all this stuff and these updates. Why doesn't this other game that I had to pay money for, give me all this stuff too? And it's just not possible with how games are made. Mm-hmm. Like the entire studio has to be structured to do that, and they have to be huge, and they have to be as successful as Fortnite to be able to afford to do that.
Fortnite is like one of the richest companies in gaming, like constantly dumping absurd amounts of money and man hours into a game that is so aggressively monetized, like that. Yeah, like it's just not fair to compare. We heard about what happened to like Apex Legends when they tried to keep up with that.
Yeah, and like I almost wish somebody would be bold enough to be like, hey, we're not doing a service game. We're just doing like a traditional multiplayer mode or something. Yes. Like it would honestly almost feel refreshing at this point, because I'm somebody that likes playing multiple games. I play a lot of games. I mean, yes, I play Destiny, but it's not the only game I play.
Remember when people just played like Halo 2 and then Halo 3 for years? And those games were exactly the same.
Overwatch is a perfect example of them completely abandoning everything and just hopping on a battle pass train.
Yeah. Good example.
Fucking
Yeah.
Lego 2K Drive has a battle pass, guys.
Well, I remember.
How does Diablo have a battle pass? You know what I mean? Like,
part of the thing that like drove me away from like Rainbow Six Siege was also just like some of the like kind of what I meant. This is more playing into what I mentioned before about how we get like changes being prioritized based off of very, very minor portion of the player base that's just very loud. And also just change for the sake of change. My favorite map was House. And they did a big map rework because the esports players didn't think it was competitive enough. And then all of a sudden, my favorite map was no longer in the game. It looked similar, but it wasn't nearly as fun. And then that was just gone. And then there was another time where it was another esports related thing. There was a character that they added with one of the seasons that was extremely overpowered. Like, she had her primary weapon was only available on her, and it was just completely busted. It completely broke the game balance. And they waited to release the patch that was going to bring her into line, because there was like some big esports tournament, and they didn't want to put out the patch within a couple weeks of this tournament because it would screw up the pros. And it's like, wait, so you're actually actively making the game worse for every single person that plays it while we're waiting for, some pros that should be able to adapt to some changes from a patch.
I think if game companies are going to commit to like multiplayer games, you have to commit to one or the other. Like, you have to realize you're not going to please everybody, and you have to commit to the lane that you're in. You cannot do something and then decide halfway through, oh, this isn't working, or these people aren't happy, we're going to do this. Like, it's,
you gotta trust. You gotta like trust in the actual like artistic integrity of your developers. Yeah.
Exactly. You definitely have to trust your developers.
And and then there's stuff
listen to them.
None of this market tested bullshit that's going to be outdated by the time you launch.
And stuff like Call of Duty is actually like suffering from trying to support a regular. It's trying to support a regular multiplayer mode, a battle royale mode, an extraction shooter mode. Like, these are all things that like entire games are built around, and they're trying to do it all at the same time while aggressively monetizing and releasing seasons and updates and a new game every year.
So the problem is, look, supporting 3 different game types, 3 different games, and all these different mods, that's fine, right? Because if anyone could do it, it would be like any of the Call of Duty does. The problem is those games have like the shortest lifespan of any game we talked about.
Yeah, I told you I tried to play. I've been playing. Well, I played for a bit, like Modern Warfare 2. And the problem is that when you load into the game, if you like to try to actually play the campaign means scrolling to the very fucking bottom.
It's like that scene in the airplane where like he's walking through and all the different religions are trying to offer him something. Yeah. That's basically the.
And when I get there and click, like, I want to play Modern Warfare 2, not Warzone, like this is the game that I launched on my PC, it then goes, okay, well, we need to close this program and launch a different program.
It literally only had a regular Modern Warfare 2 like main menu for a week.
Sorry.
Oh, Warzone eats every Call of Duty game. Warzone eats every Call of Duty game. Look, I just miss it when games ended. I remember when I played Devil May Cry 5 for the first time and I beat it after like 15 hours. I was like, whoa. How did that happen? I finished the game.
This is why, and I'll jump in here. This is why I have a hard time playing games like Diablo 4. Or it's the same reason
I think you might still like Diablo 4, but you just have to not fucking engage with the season shit.
And see, this is what I feel Final Fantasy 14 does so well. In that I can stop playing for a month and I can come back and I haven't really
you're not lost. Right? You're not lost or anything.
Right. Exactly. And I feel like
you've been playing since the beginning, haven't you?
Yeah, but
pretty early on.
Yeah. Not since the exact beginning, but for a while. I've been playing since
like Heavensward, I think.
Yeah. I jumped on about Heavensward.
Just wait until fucking like Story of Seasons. The next game has a fucking annual pass. But
like I feel like Final Fantasy 14 and like really any MMO does that exceptionally well, right? Like you can take a break, come back for a month, 2 months, and you haven't really missed a whole lot.
Yeah, just don't expect to jump in 5 years later. Like
right, but I feel like with games like Destiny 2 or Diablo 4, there's this sense of FOMO, especially in games like Diablo 4, which is not an MMO and will conceivably stop getting content at some point in the future,
like 5 or 6 years from now.
Right, but eventually it's going to happen. There's that sense of finality to it.
God forbid somebody tries to get into Diablo 4 like 3 years from now. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a nightmare.
I want to play it as soon as I get my copy. Now I'm like scared. You know what I'm saying? It's a bizarre thing. Like I didn't know I couldn't jump into the single player game a month out from launch.
You can.
Well, right.
So, all the season stuff's separate, but
you know what I'm saying? It's just that the sound of it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: it's like it doesn't affect your characters that you've already leveled.
Right.
So it's but again, you have to deal with like, well, if I'm not playing it from the beginning, like I think you're just gonna have a different experience as far as Diablo goes. I don't think that means it like it's forever gonna be different for you, you know?
Right.
Oh.
And yeah, like Brom said, you could still choose not to make a season character.
Yeah, okay. I'm never going to. Fuck that. Because games are allowed to end for me. Like, sometimes a game rolls credits.
Speaking of things ending, it's probably time to wrap this podcast.
Guys, we're announcing the SDGC Battle Pass. If you guys keep watching,
this is
all right, unlock different tiers.
Somebody link our Patreon with
we're actually going to be using AI to generate infinite hours of SDGC live from here on.
Jared, don't even joke about that.
It's literally just going to be just FF6 and FF16 talk.
Absolutely.
And FF14.
With like a version of me with like really fucked up hands. Like my hands are going to be all fucked up. Like
the beanie doesn't actually like separate from the skin. It just kind of like grows out of it.
It's like one of the fucking cone heads. I've just got like an orange dome. That's what it's gonna be.
It can't figure out that me and Justin are different people, so it just does us like this weird shifting homunculus person.
John has 6 fingers and anime eyes. Yeah, that's AI, John.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you very much to everybody for tuning in tonight. Chat was fun tonight. Really appreciate everybody stopping by. As you can see, as always, there's a link to the Discord in there. Highly recommend you join, especially since Twitter is falling apart and who the fuck wants to go to Threads because fuck Meta. And instead, so you should come to our Discord instead. Come check us out.
I'm in it.
That's the only reason. Like that's the biggest, not the only reason, but that's the biggest reason to be there is that Brit's there. Brit is a delight. All right, everyone. We will, of course. Hey, we'll see you next week as always, right here on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch.tv/official SDGC. Take care of each other and remember, kindness costs nothing. We'll see you next week.